Good evening, and I welcome you students for another important quiz, another live webinar on Is Matter Around Us Pure? A lot of important MCQ questions are going to be answered in this quiz, in this webinar, and you are welcome students to participate and think. Before we begin the session, there is a short warm-up exercise as we are experiencing some stiffness in different parts of our body. Our body should be relaxed when we start working. The whole day when we are sitting on the laptops, on the chair, students, what is happening? We experience stress, little bit of pains and little stiffness at different parts of the body. So we are going to release it by a 4-point activation. What we will do, we will activate our body and give the stress out from different parts of the body. So first, this is our hand, students. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, मुट्ठी बंद करिए. Exhale, इसको खोलिए 5 बार. हमने what we have done, we have activated our hands with which we work the whole day. Let us see. We will see what is the activation of our neck. Our neck is stiff. You are sitting like this. Spinal cord is becoming bent. We will do inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Give a gentle and smooth and slow rotation to the neck clockwise and anti-clockwise. Half inhale, half exhale. Reverse. Okay, we have released the stiffness and stress from the neck. Shoulders are very important, students. There is a stiffness in the shoulders, so we will release it. One, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. All right, now our mouth, we will open the mouth completely, close it, close it, close it, close it. Now what we have, that would we have our lips. Move your lips. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Eyes, you will open your eyes, close, open, close. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So now our feet are touching the grounds where we are sitting. Tap your feet on the ground 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the flow of the energy is taking place in the entire body.
Yes, sir.
So we are getting energy levels increased. You know what happens when our energy level improves inside the body are chemicals which are released by the body from the mind, which are positive hormones. They help us in understanding and having greater concentration and focus on the things which we are studying. Now let us do some breathing in order to release the stress. The best part of breathing is Brahmari, in which we inhale deeply from the nostril and exhale with the sound of the Brahmari is a B, with the B sound. And this releases the stress, the negative energies which are residing in the mind, clears the mind. Clarity of the mind is very important. So what will we do, students? That we will put our two thumbs in this, close our eyes, inhale and release it with the sound of the B. Okay. Close your close close your eyes, put the thumbs and start. Inhale. Mm. Inhale. Inhale. Come back. Rub your two hands, and we are experiencing heat energy, healing energy, like a field of the magnet. Put it on your face. Focus your attention on your breath. Gentle massage, forehead, face, nose, chin, ears, neck, your head, hands, body, legs. And you can open your eyes. Before that, let us have a gratitude prayer. Gratitude means we should be thankful to the universe, to the environment, to the God for all the things with which we work and survive and live on planet Earth. Now you can open your eyes with smiles, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, come back. So students, I hope it works and we have been able to release the stresses which are coming in our body, in our mind entire day. Everyone gets stressed due to different types of activities, different type of works. We remove them. These stress molecules produce radicals in the body, radicals. These radicals attack our cells and damage the cells. Sometimes extreme stress over many years will be the cause of the cancer and many other serious diseases in our body. This is a scientific thing, but I teach is science of life, and whatever topics I take are science topics. It is not chemistry, it is not physics, it is nothing but science. That is why we try to go slow and steady, try to understand. We manifest and set up a target. Okay, that our intention is to learn. Intention, set up an intention to learn. Then we have a time to learn, intention to learn, and we fix up a time, and then we start learning, doing with understanding. We are not cramming the things, and neither we have interest that our students should do that. So they will have a strong foundation physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So we are coming to a very, very important topic that is coming in the examinations of the students. First term papers, students are going to get it, is Matter Around Us Pure, Chapter 2, NCERT. Students, what we learned in this case. First, a little bit of recap. Can you tell me, is the matter around you pure, students?
No, sir.
What do you mean by a pure substance?
So pure substance is a substance which consists of single particles of matter.
That means either you have element or you have a compound. So they have only one single component. One single component?
Yes, sir.
And you know, most of the substances you are experiencing in the world are what?
Mixtures.
Mixtures, students. So when we discuss mixtures, we said that mixtures can be separated into pure substances using appropriate separation techniques. And we discussed how many types of mixtures we discussed, students?
2 types:
What are those?
homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture.
Homogeneous and heterogeneous, students. As we understand the science, homo means they have the same composition throughout.
Yes, sir.
They have uniform or same composition, throughout. And heterogeneous means they have non-uniform
Composition.
composition throughout. So we have mixture, students, and then we discussed with you solutions. What are solutions, student?
Sir, solutions are the homogeneous mixtures of 2 or more substances.
Homogeneous mixtures of 2 or more substances. 2 or more substances. And then we discussed, students, how to express the concentrations of the solutions. How to express the concentrations of solutions?
Yes, sir.
How do we express it? Mass percent, volume percent. Okay. So we have discussed the concentration in terms of the amount of solute per unit volume. Amount of solute per unit volume, and we have per unit mass also. Then we discussed, students, what we discussed? We discussed true solutions. We discussed colloids. We discussed suspensions, students. What were the differences between these, students?
Sir, the sizes of particles of true solution was less than 1 nanometer. The size of particles of colloids was about 100 nanometer. Was less than 1 to it was between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer, and size of particles of suspension was more than 100 nanometer.
All right, students. Then we have discussed some techniques for the separation. Separation techniques. What separation techniques were used, students, in order to separate mixtures?
Centrifugation.
Different type of techniques were discussed in this topic.
Yes, sir.
And we have discussed with you how can we separate different components. Components of the mixture can be separated, students, by many ways. How we have separated cream from the milk. You are aware of those.
Yes, sir.
How we can separate, you see, a mixture of the dyes. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And various, if we have a mixture of liquids with different boiling points, what techniques are used, distillation, fractional distillation, and how we separate the mixed air, how can we obtain different gases from air, all this was discussed.
Yes, sir.
So we are already aware of the various methods which we have used, and we also discussed, students, what is the difference between physical and chemical changes.
The physical changes are the changes which are reversible, whereas chemical changes are irreversible.
Anything else? Because the chemical change, some new substances
Yes,
are likely to be formed. In
no new
physical.
substances formed in physical change.
Okay. So let us begin our session of question answers on this. Are you ready, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see what is the question coming. Question number 1 is on the screen, student. First question. More than one kind of pure form of matter combines forming. What is the correct answer?
Option C, mixture.
Mixture is the correct answer. That more than one kind of pure form of matter can combine in order to form mixture. That is the definition. Absolutely correct answer. Let us go to the next question. Dissolved sodium chloride can be separated from water by. Now, what happens when you dissolve sodium chloride, the salt which you have in water, students? How will you separate?
Sir, option D, physical process of evaporation.
So when sodium chloride is dissolved in water, it forms a homogeneous solution. It forms a solution. And when we will do evaporation, what will happen? The water will evaporate and NaCl salt will be left behind. Physical process by evaporation is the correct answer. I'm getting another 1 mark for that. Next question. Non-uniform composition of solutions are called.
D, heterogeneous.
Okay. Whenever we form solutions, non-uniform composition. So if we have solution, if I have uniform composition, then that is homogeneous.
Yes, sir.
Homo means same composition throughout. And when you have non-uniform composition, that is what we mean by heterogeneous. Heterogeneous, students. So answer is heterogeneous is the absolutely right answer. Go to the next question, student. Uniform composition of solutions are called.
C, homogeneous.
All right, similar type of questions are there. As we said that there are 2 types of situations, solutions, homogeneous, which have uniform composition throughout, and non-uniform composition. These are examples of heterogeneous solutions. No problems here. Homogeneous solutions may be separated by. Homogeneous solution may be separated by chemical processes, physical processes, filtration, physical processes of evaporation. What processes can be used for separation of homogeneous solutions?
Sir, option D, physical process of evaporation.
Okay, there is no need of chemical process, no need of physical filtration does not work because solution is homogeneous. Then just now we answered the question. That is the correct answer. We can do the evaporation. Sugars dissolved in water, NaCl dissolved in water. You can do the evaporation of the water and the result will be physical process of evaporation. As we studied evaporation, it is a physical process and the solvent, the liquid is evaporated by heating. How we heat, we have shown it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another question is coming, students. Mixtures of 2 or more metals or metals and non-metals is called.
Option A, alloy.
So students, what is an alloy?
Sir, it is a solid solution.
Alloys are solid solutions. Examples:
Brass.
brass. Any other? So many examples are there. You are using. You have bronze. Then what else? You have alloys of steel, stainless steel,
Yes, sir.
different forms of iron you are making. So we are mixing either metal with metal or metal with non-metal. Carbon is used as a non-metal in many cases, and you are mixing because iron gets rusted, so they will mix it. So coinage metal alloy is the correct answer. Alloys cannot be separated by chemical evaporation, extraction, or physical methods. Alloys cannot be separated by what possibilities are there?
Sir, option B, evaporation.
And also physical methods cannot work evaporation. There are two possible answers here. What we will evaporate? Nothing here. And what physical methods will not work here?
Yes, sir.
They are used, so either chemical or extraction techniques are used. So sometimes the questions are like this. You may have more than one possibility. We have to be careful because there is only a small amount of trick which is played. That's all, student. Brass is a mixture, but the brass contains, student. Brass is an alloy.
Yes, sir.
Which two elements are present in brass?
Zinc and copper.
Zinc and copper, student. So a homogeneous solid solution of zinc and copper is called the brass. Zinc and copper. These are some memory part helps us students because there is a brass, there is a bronze. What is bronze? Contains which two elements? Do you know the elements which are present in bronze?
No, sir.
Okay, find out. You will find out, you will get the answer because you know there are different type of alloys which are in great demand and are in used. We have to learn more, not only these questions, students, we try to learn as much in detail as possible. And the meanwhile, I will take water and say, oh, water, heal me. I'll sip hot water. Hot water, students, gives me energy. Water is a great healer. Next question. Zinc and copper get mixed by forming.
B, brass.
Okay, sometimes questions will be repeated. These are alloys. Solid solutions, they are in great demand, great use. The properties change, students. You have studied the properties of pure metals, pure non-metals. When you mix, what happens? Certain properties are modified, changed, and depending on what we need, we can get those type of properties. Next question is coming on the screen. Component present in large amount in a solution. These are just revision lectures, revision questions. When we do these, we completely revise the course. When you form a solution, student, how a solution is formed? You have
Solute and solvent.
solute and solvent. Two component. When
Yes.
I have two component solution, binary solution, they are called binary solution. So the one component present in large amount, which is present in large amount, student,
Solvent.
this is present in large amount, and you say this is present in smaller amount. What is the correct answer then?
Option C, solvent.
Okay, very good answer. Purpose is not to only answer the question, to learn all the possibilities. There will be easy question, there will be tricky questions, there will be difficult questions, but with practice, students, those students who do a lot of practice, all questions will look very easy and they will be able to answer them very fast, very fast. The component of solution that dissolved in solvent is called.
Option A, solute.
Just now we discussed the what do you mean by solution. It is made when you add solute in a solvent, then it forms a homogeneous solution. So the answer is solute. That is the correct answer. A component present in lesser quantity in a solution is called.
Option A, solute.
That is the correct answer. All is a reason. We don't have to memorize the definitions of solutions or anything in our chapter 2 of NCERT book. We learn by solving questions. Easily we learn. Our purpose is to learn by solving questions. So we are saying, students, don't try to cram the things. Try to learn the things that will help you. Okay, coming to the next part. A component present in more quantity in a solution is called.
Option C, solvent.
All right, so many questions are coming on solution, the definition of solution. Solvent, solute, solvent, solute. You have studied different types of the solutions in being used in chemistry. Can you give me some examples of different type of solutions which you are using? Different type of solutions which we used. Is it
Sir,
always solid in liquid?
no, sir.
Then what else?
So it can be in gas.
Okay. Solid in liquid, you have sugar in water.
Yes, sir.
If you dissolve iodine, iodine dissolves in which solvent?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. What is that called, student?
Tincture of iodine.
Where it is used?
It is used as an antiseptic.
Tincture of iodine. Students get small cuts and wounds in the school. What they do? They apply a solution, tincture of iodine. Tincture of iodine. And if you have aerated drinks, in aerated drinks, what happens? What type of solution is that?
Gas in liquid solution.
There is a gas in liquid. Which gas is there?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide gas is dissolved in the liquid, ठीक है? In the solvent, student, which is dissolved in water, which is liquid. Most of the aerated drinks, you see the sound of buzzing, and all they contain a gas, carbon dioxide, and you have an example of, student, a mixture of gas.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Air.
Solution of gaseous solution. I'm saying gaseous solution. Air is a example of gaseous solution. What are the
Yes, sir.
gases which are present? Different: oxygen, nitrogen, and few more gases are there. So you have seen the solution need not necessarily be solid in liquid. They can be prepared in gas, in liquid, or different forms. And solid solutions, you are talking about alloys. So much there. Okay. Sugar in water is that case of sugar is
Option A, solute.
sugar is solute. And you have water is a solvent. So you get a sugar solution. That is the correct answer. Air is a mixture of
Option D, homogeneous.
homogeneous. We know that. If it's a mixture of gases, he says only gas. No? One, he say gas. If it is gases, then we know there's a difference between gases and gas. Air is a gas that, of course, we know, but mixture of gases and homogeneous mixture of gases. Air is a homogeneous mixture of gases. We just discussed. This is the most appropriate answer. Sometimes you see the answers look to be little close, and then we go for most appropriate answers. Answers which are more appropriate answers, students. Next question. If a solute particle size is smaller, then it cannot be seen by the naked eye. What are the particles which can be seen, which cannot be seen?
Sir, option D, 1 nanometer.
You know, 1 meter can be seen. This can be seen, student. 1 centimeter, you already know how to measure. 1 millimeter also can be seen, student, by the eyes. But 1 nanometer. What is 1 nanometer equal to?
10 raised to power minus 9 meter.
This cannot be seen. What type of solution they form?
True solution.
These are what we call as a true solution. Example of a true solution:
Sugar solution, salt solution.
when you dissolve NaCl in water, salt in water. Can you see the salt in water when it dissolves? It
No,
disappears.
sir.
It disappears. That means the size of the particle, size of the solute particle, size of solute particles is less than 1 nanometer. These are called true solutions. We discussed 3 types of solution: true solution, colloidal solution, and suspension. True solution, here that is the correct answer. Answer D. How many type of solution we discussed? True solution,
Colloidal solution and suspension.
what is the size of the particles?
In true solution, it is less than 1 nanometer. In colloidal solution, it is between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. And in suspension, it is more than 100 nanometer.
So they will become visible. Can colloidal particles be seen?
No, sir.
Then how do we know there are colloidal particles? What experiments are done?
Sir, we can verify it using Tyndall effect.
Tyndall effect. These particles exhibit the properties of colloidal particles are different from true solution and suspension. And colloidal particles, you said that they will show. What is a Tyndall effect?
Sir, it is a process of scattering of beam of light by the colloidal and suspension particles, which makes the path of light visible.
This Tyndall effect is very important. You have so many examples. Can you give me one example of the Tyndall effect?
Sir, when light enters through a small hole in a dark room.
All right. You have seen the blue color of the sky, students.
Yes, sir.
In chapter of light in next year, you will learn. We are already uploading lectures on 10th class also. You can forward it to your 10th class friends. We are uploading the sample paper solved for 10th class for the first term. The science paper of 10th class is on 2nd December. If you have friends, forward them and they can learn it and will be helping them for the coming exams. Why do we
Yes.
upload? Because our purpose is to help more and more students. So at least to few your friends of the 10th class and 12th class, you will forward our sample paper solved. You have friends in 10th and 12th students?
Yes, sir.
Forward to them our solutions for the coming exam. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Help the students. Helping is always good. When we help more and more people, they also help us. If we help nobody, then nobody helps us. Giving is a law of attraction. You give, you will get. If you don't give, what will we get? Nothing. The universe gives us everything. God gives us everything. We don't reciprocate, we don't give, but we send pollution to the universe. Then what is happening? Who is under threat with pollution?
Human beings.
Why? Because we are not returning the universe with the things which it is giving. Universe is giving us oxygen, we are giving carbon dioxide, carbon particles. Then what will happen? Then universe will reciprocate in the similar manner. You know, very large number of people die every day in the world due to pollution. You can check the list. How many people die? You don't even know. Silent deaths. In our country also, large number of people die every day because of the pollution. And people don't even know the cause of the death. That is the story. And here I am telling you that. Because people are ignorant. They don't know what is the pollution. So many people, we only know we are in cities where they tell us in the television, the PM level is this, pollution level is this, but it is not known to all over. Hey, in India, how will people know about this? Tell me.
Yes.
Even if I know the pollution level, PM level, someone suffers a heart attack in the night, they will say, oh, he died of heart attack, but doctors in the hospital know what was the cause of that. It was because of the pollution. The lungs are getting, infected, highly infected, and then what happens? Serious infection in the lungs and breathing problems will lead to deaths. So what is happening, student? Our purpose of telling you is that try to help more and more. Forward our lectures of 10th and 12th at least to five friends minimum, so that they will be able to solve it in the coming exam. If even you help one person, it is good for you. What is the need of me uploading so much without any earning or any money? No. If I have given you these quiz, for example, it will take me minimum 2 to 3 hours to bring these questions. Can they be written themselves?
No, sir.
That means a lecture of 1 hour is compounded by a labor of 4 hours from my side. I have to search which is the best part, which is the best question. Then I have to produce it in my board, and then I have to write it. Then I have to answer the question, students. It's a very long process. It is not going to be just few minutes process. So our hard work will be reciprocated. Motivation is when more children will get benefit. That is the reason we ask you to forward. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
So we want that it should be able to reach. So much work has been done by the people who are making all these lessons. It's not easy. Next question: when no more solute can be dissolved in a solution at a given temperature, student, what we call this?
Option C, saturated.
So we talked of solutions, saturated solution, student. We talked of learning is there unsaturated solutions. What do you mean by unsaturated solution, students?
Sir, in which we can add more solute at a given temperature in the
Okay,
solute.
you have supposing 500 milliliter of water. 500 milliliter of water, student. And supposing you add 50 gram of sugar. Still it dissolves. You add 100 gram, it dissolves. Then you add 300 grams, supposing it dissolves. Then there is a limit up to which it can be dissolved. These are unsaturated solutions. When no more can be absorbed at a given temperature and pressure, then that will be a saturated solution. Okay? At a given temperature. Because with temperature, the solubility changes.
Yes, sir.
So that is called a saturated solution. So you get 1 full mark for that. So our try to understand and learn more and more. Every question teaches us so many things. We learn. Answering a question is where just passing. Reading is just students just say, oh, as in the many times they say course is finished. But what course is finished? They have not checked any table of the book. They have not checked any graph or any data. And what teaching and what they have learned, ultimately they just say, oh, of course we have done the chapter, but nothing, learning is not there. Then they will say, sir, we can't remember all the things. I said, who wants you to remember the things? We want you to learn the things. This is the only difference. Next question: the amount of solute present in saturated solution at this temperature is called?
Option D, solubility.
So we talked of solubility, students. Every substance has a solubility, the amount dissolved in a fixed amount of solvent. How many grams dissolved in supposing 1000 grams of water or any other solvent at a given temperature? That is called the solubility of the substance. Different substances, different compounds have different solubilities. Do they all have same solubility?
No, sir.
So at a given temperature, some are more soluble, some are less soluble, and some are insoluble. There are substances of different type. You will learn more the reasons for the solubility. There's a like dissolves like. All this is coming in the next classes. We are laying the foundations and basic definitions, which will help us in higher classes also. All our lectures will go up to college level and beyond that. So this will help you a lot, student, understanding of the basic concepts, basic definition. Chemistry is all about definitions, but what a definition means, student? Whenever I write a word, it has a meaning. We must understand it. And then we will have clarity and will be able to apply them, application part. And then we will start some calculation mathematically. Mathematical relationships, formulas will be given in order to make it more quantitative, and exact calculations can be done. This answer is correct. Okay. Next question is coming, students. If the amount of solute contained in a solution is less than saturation level. What it is called, student? What are the possible options?
Unsaturated solution.
All right, we just discussed unsaturated solution, student. Still, you can add more of the solute at a given temperature. Is it temperature dependent? Solubility is a temperature dependent property. The concentration of a solution is depend on the amount of when we expressed concentrations of solutions, how do we express the concentration of the solution? We told you, students.
Mass by mass percentage.
Or how much mass of solute?
By mass of solution to 100.
Or mass of solution, mass percentage into 100. Or mass by volume of the solute by volume of the solution into 100. Mass percentage, volume percentage, mass by volume percentage. All this we define.
Yes, sir.
So what is the concentration? Depends on the amount of
solute. Option D.
Amount of solute which is present, amount of solute, mass of the solute, volume of the solute, or whatever it is. So this is a way to express the concentration. We will learn more concentrations in the next classes. We will talk of molarity, normality, and so many other terms which are commonly used in chemistry lab. Concentration is very important. If I have a solution, I should know what is the concentration. You have seen the bottles which you buy from any market, any products you buy, they have written the concentrations. Any product you buy, it is mandatory to write the concentration of different substances which are present in it. And
Yes.
even if you buy any medicine or juice, you will see in the bottles. Next question is coming, student. Mass of the solute divided by mass of the solution multiply by 100, then what we get?
Option C, mass percentage of solution.
All right, mass percentage of solution is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. So this gives us a very good revision when we solve questions. That is the correct answer. Then what are the different methods which are used for expressing the concentrations of the solutions? Next question is coming, student. Mass of the solute divided by volume of a solution multiply 100. We will get
option D, mass by volume percentage of solution.
So what is mass by volume MYV percentage, which we defined as? These are some of the methods by which concentrations are expressed. As you will buy bottles of medicine, you will see mass by mass, mass by volume. All these are used very commonly by in the pharmaceutical industries. Mass of solute divided by volume of solution. So this is a way to write the composition. Whenever we buy any medicine or any medicine is prepared, there has to be, the composition must be specified. With different methods are there for specifying the concentrations. This is also used a lot. Solids are dissolved in volume of the solution, so they mention. If a solution is 400 milliliter in solvent and 300 milliliter, solution of 400 milliliter and solvent is 400 milliliter solvent, 300 milliliter, what is the percentage of solute? Percentage of solute you have to find out. Oh, water, heal me. I'll drink water. Solution is 400 meter. And solvent is 300 milliliter. What is the percentage of solute? Percentage of solute. What is the answer coming?
Sir, option D, 25.
Volume of solution. Volume of solution is 400 milliliter. Volume of solvent. Volume of solvent is 300 milliliter. Then how much is the volume of solute?
100 ml.
400 minus 300, 100 milliliter. So what is the percentage volume of solute, students? 100 by 400. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Into 100. So what do we get?
25%.
Okay, that is the correct answer. So we have to make calculations. I said, students, take your time, don't hurry up. Any question, you have to answer it and solve the answer, then you compare with the given answer. Solids are dispersed in liquids. Solids are dispersed in liquids are called students. You have liquid and solid in it. What will we call this? If you have solid in liquids, solids in liquids, what we call these, students? Any difficulty in answering the question?
Sir, option D.
D is the correct answer. You have solid dispersed in liquid, that is called the suspension. It is not diffusion, it is not dissolution, it is not collusion. The appropriate answer here is only suspension. Then you are getting one full mark for that. Suspension is, what is a suspension, student?
Sir, option D. Heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous. We have seen, we have told you true solution, colloids and suspension. Suspension is heterogeneous. You can see two separate phases. And example of heterogeneous? Any examples of heterogeneous solute mixtures or suspension mixtures?
Yes, sir.
What are the examples? Give me some examples of suspension, students.
Sir, when sir, oil in water.
That is not a suspension. You are getting two distinct layers of this. Suspensions, we have told you. What do you do? Put mud in water, chalk powder in water. You are so easy and simple examples.
Yes.
If you have mud in water, students, and you put chalk powder in water, what do you find? Easy examples. Why you want to take trouble? So these are called suspensions. You will have separate layers. You will see they will start settling down. They settle down in the mixtures, as you will see. So students, this ends up our live webinar, in which we have asked 25 questions and you could get 25 out of 25 marks. So that is a 100% performance. So that is good. Good students. We are here to motivate you. We are here to inspire you, and we are here to tell you that students can score 100% in the coming exams. So best wishes to all of you, and we hope to see you the next time, and keep on sending our videos to your friends for 10th and 12th. It's important for them so that they can benefit and at least help 5-10 students. And it always is good if they can solve more and more questions in the paper. All right. Bye bye. Good night. See you next time.
Thank you, sir.